welcome to this episode of The Daily. My name is Brendan Malone. Well, in light of the stripper Chiefs rugby team scandal that happened here in New Zealand a couple of weeks ago, Vice News published an article from a New Zealand stripper in which I guess she was trying to make the case for virtuous, non-objectification stripping, which is just clearly a bit of an oxymoron. But she said one particular thing in her article that really stood out to me, and this is the statement she made. I don't accept that it's alcohol or my bare breasts that make men go mad. Now, when I read that statement, one of the first things I thought to myself was, have we fallen into an alternate reality now where we are no longer actually capable of discerning the world as it is? We are no longer actually capable of seeing reality and acting accordingly? Because first of all, this wasn't just about breasts. This was about stripping. Stripping is different from breasts. Stripping is an act where a female is commodified and objectified. She is paid, she becomes a commodity, to take her clothes off for the sexual titillation of a group of men. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking breasts, we're talking about the act of stripping. And we're not just talking about stripping, we're talking about stripping and alcohol. And one of the things we know about alcohol is that alcohol destroys the control faculties in the brain. That's why alcohol is a fueling mechanism for crime, for dangerous driving, for domestic abuse, for criminal nuisance, for people who say stupid things and get fired from their job. Because it removes inhibitions and it erodes the control faculties in the brain. So you've got now a large group of men who their zero starting point is they want to pay a woman to take her clothes off for their sexual gratification and titillation. And that group of men have tanked themselves up on a substance which removes inhibitions and destroys control faculties in the brain. Are we really so naive and deluded as to think that that sort of scenario could not at least possibly result in what we saw happening in this Chiefs stripper scandal? Now, this doesn't justify those men's behaviour. What they did was reprehensible. But the point is, this scenario was actually set up to facilitate and allow that reprehensible behaviour to begin. And also, the reprehensible and unvirtuous behaviour didn't begin the moment they tried to grab at that stripper or say the things they said. It began the moment this group of men failed to act like men and paid a woman to turn her body into a sexual commodity for their gratification. That's a massive failure of manhood. It's a massive lack of virtue. It was always objectification. There is no non-objectifying stripping. That's the whole point. And there is no scenario in which you can put the deliberate commodification and objectification, sexual objectification of a woman into a context with large groups of men who have consumed large quantities of alcohol where this very outcome is not a possibility. I don't know what it is, but for some reason we seem to think very naively that we can now rid the world of evil, that we can somehow make the world free of predatory behaviours, of people who act in oppressive, predatory, vile and evil ways. We can't. So we need to actually own that fact and start living in that world and teaching ourselves how to live safely in that world. That's not victim blaming or victim shaming, that's victim empowerment. Because when you provide someone with the knowledge they need to avoid becoming a victim, you've actually helped them. Whereas when you pretend and reinforce this delusional thinking that leaves them vulnerable constantly, you're not helping in the slightest. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow on The Daily.